Coffee Time with Dale Hutchinson. For years, I've shared stories of hope, resilience, and justice through my podcast, covering everything from recovery and faith to fighting human trafficking. Even as I face hospice care, my mission continues to inspire change and leave a legacy of love. Today, my message is deeply personal. Broken heart, dear Alan Dale, Roger Lynn, and Sean Edward, I want you to know from the depths of my heart, I love you all. I miss you and the grandchildren more than words can ever express. Not a day goes by that I don't think of you and wish I could hold you close again. Life has taken me through many battles, 36 years of sobriety, and now hospice care, but my greatest hope is to heal the distance between us. Nothing matters more to me than family. You are my sons, my pride, my love, and my legacy. If there's any way to reconnect, please reach out. Round pushpin address, 7100 West 13th Avenue, apartment 212, Lakewood, Colorado, 80214 telephone receiver phone, 720-653-5088 email, dale@coffee-time-again.com. Time is precious. All I want is to share love and forgiveness before it runs out. Always remember you are loved beyond measure. Backhand index pointing right, please share this post and listen to my podcast to help spread awareness and hope. Every share matters. Every moment counts. Hashtag Coffee Time Podcast, hashtag Family Matters, hashtag Second Chances, hashtag Love Never Fails, hashtag Faith and Hope, hashtag Legacy of Love, hashtag Redemption Story, hashtag Support Survivors, hashtag Human Trafficking Awareness, hashtag Podcast Life.
Good morning, or good afternoon, I guess it is, the United States of America. How you doing today? I hope better than some other days. World, get your act together. You're going to cause a lot of problems. So anyway, welcome to the show. This is Coffee Time again, where we expose the truth. And we're going to be exposing some heavy-duty truth here. I got a sneaking suspicion today. I have two guests who are not guests, they are the hosts. They're going to be interviewing me on my show in an attempt to locate my children. I've got some serious medical issues, got chronic kidney failure, and I need them tested. So trying to track them down. So they're going to help me track them down by interviewing me and getting this out on the internet, because I know they're on the internet. I know they're computer crazy, at least they were years ago. So we may find them pretty quick and they'll talk to me. So we have the Reverend Becky Jones with us and the Reverend Amy Pike with us today. And they're going to be doing the questions. So I don't know how they decided to start, but let's find out. Go ahead.
So Dale, say a little something about yourself that your podcast audience may not know.
I'm pretty open with my podcast group. They don't know about some of my past history as an alcoholic and a drug addict.
What would you like for them to know about that?
That has been over for 36 years. Got 36 years sobriety now, and coming up on 37 here in about 6 months. So I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that. I don't consider myself to be a recovering addict. I consider myself to be a recovered addict. There is not much difference between the two, but I think it's important for me and my sobriety. I didn't do a lot of 12-step programs. I did private therapy for years. I still am. I'm still in therapy. In fact, it was my therapist I was talking to last Monday that put this together. She made the suggestion that we try to do this. So that would be one thing you may not know, is that all those years I've gotten recovery.
Well, Dale, what would you want to share with people about your condition?
It's scary. It's frightening. They had known about it for 6 months before they bothered to tell me about it. They knew about it before I came into hospice. Which, by the way, I am in hospice now. I've been here for 6 months, and they just recertified me for another 6 months. Recert.
Possibly,
Yeah.
or 90 or 60 days.
I know 60 days, I'm not sure which, but I've just been recertified to stay here longer. Because I got other health issues besides the liver failure. I've got congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, diabetes, restless leg syndrome. That's not so bad. That's COPD and the PTSD are the other real major ones. There are a lot of little just pain in the patootie, but that is what I want you to know about my physical health. Oh, I also got dementia in the real early stages, but I've noticed a change in the past year. So I don't know what we're going to do about that one of these days. That's going to have to be addressed also.
You know, you said you struggled with addiction for many years.
Mhm.
Can you say a little bit about how that impacted your family?
Into my drinking, there were problems in our relationship and my marriage that could have been solved very easily with a little bit of therapy treatment, which Mara was able to go to if I was sober, and I just wasn't able to stay sober. Part of the problem with me staying sober is she had an abortion and it just tore me up. And that's when my drinking really escalated to the daily, every day drinking, is because that tore me up so bad. It really bothers me, that abortion she had. And she made no calls about it. She says, I want to do it. You have no say so in it. It's my decision. I went with her. I held her hand. I supported her as much as I could, but it still tore me up. Pretty bad.
And so how did that manifest itself in your family life, your drinking? What happened?
A lot of fighting, scoring, arguing. There was no physical violence involved in my family at all. Ever. Well, no, I slapped her one time, and that was a mistake. But she came up with a left hook to set me on my butt. Said, I won't do that again. Uh, I the boys impacted their schoolwork because the boys were not physically abused. They were abused in the sense that it was mental abuse because of my drinking. Is what happened to them. Alan and Sean seem to have done a really good job of dealing with it. My young middle son Roger seems to have not done a very good job of dealing with it, from what little I know.
And so your marriage ended because of your drinking. And then how did you lose touch with your boys after that?
Well, I was in touch with them for a long time. I left. I came to California. I came to Denver, Glenwood Springs, and Milo went back to Missouri. That's where she's from. And she took the boys with her, of course, which is going to separate us from the long distance. I had to drive out there twice a year to pick them up and bring them back. 36 hours of nonstop driving. Rough trip, but I was willing to do it for my boys. Then in 2000, we got along fine. Everything was going good. And Alan stayed with me when he graduated from college with his bachelor's degree for a while before he joined the Air Force. But in 2010, I think it was, I got 3 phone calls, one from each of the kids saying, we don't want to talk to you anymore. We were supposed, not those exact words, but words to that effect. And I have no idea why. I have no idea what's going on. I've tried many times to contact them and have gotten nowhere. I've tried to contact their mother and have gotten nowhere.
And how has that impacted you?
I stayed sober, but it was rough. It's there are times even today, 15 years later, I'm still crying about it. It's real upset, dream about seeing my boys. And well, last count I had, and I don't know how accurate it is, it was 12 grandchildren and 2 great grandchildren.
Have you seen any of your
No,
grandchildren?
no. Well, not now. I seen them when they were younger, when they were first born.
Mhm.
I was still able to go see the boys in Missouri, but I haven't seen them since probably 2008, 2006, somewhere along in there. But no, it wasn't probably 2008 because I just went to California in 2006 for my health after my second heart attack.
And how important is it for you to get in contact and reconnect with them? And why now?
Because of the kidney failure. I mean, what Michael, my nurse, told me is I have chronic kidney failure or renal failure. He says, right now, men my age, most of men my age would have it. So it's not that critical yet. However, it could go that way. And I want to get a hold of the boys and be left to do a testing if it's necessary. I have ruled out dialysis. I am not going to do dialysis. The transplant is my only option. And that's what's so important. Plus, I want to be with my boys. They're my flesh, they're my blood. And my kids are important to me. I have tried over the years many, many times to contact them.
Dale, in the years since you last saw your boys, what's your life been like? What have you accomplished?
Well, I accomplished another career, which was the drug and alcohol counselor. I did 24 years of that, and sober, of course. I've gotten into the computer business pretty much. But I go, here I am, doing these podcasts now for the last 6 years,
Mhm.
and they're going very well. I got 500 viewers this week. And I'm shocked. Usually I get about 40 or 50. Now I'm looking for 500. Which one are they looking at? And I haven't had time to check out the analytics to see which one they're paying attention to. But I got one they contacted me about, they want to do one now because I did that one. They want to do one. It was on Raw, the Real Story was the name of it. And I think that's the one that's getting most of the hits.
And what got you into doing podcasts?
It wasn't reading my blog. Seriously, I wrote a blog for about 6 months and I got into doing some analyticals, and there was like zero readership. I said, well, I'll fix that. They're going to have to listen to me now. So I started doing the podcast, and it's taken a long time to take off. But here recently, it's really going up. Like I say, 500 visitors this week alone.
Can you describe some of your podcasts that you're proudest of?
The ones on the border, they're the ones I'm really proud of. I did 3 of them. One during the Biden administration, one at the not 2, one at the Biden administration, one after Trump took over, and the changes that were going on and were different. This guy's a supervisor with the Border Patrol, and he's stationed in San Diego before he retired. Spent a lot of time there, and he came up with some brilliant stuff. I've done 5 or 6 or 4 or 5 on human trafficking, modern slavery, trying to get something going there. I've done several on the various amendments to the Constitution and how we're losing them. I'm proud of those. I'm proud of the fact I have no sports on them whatsoever. The one thing I won't do is sports. I've had several on battered women and how they can deal with them, and some on women who are entrepreneurs, are doing fabulous jobs doing things. Had a couple of government employees, whistleblowers on the show. One was with the Postal Service, and he's the guy that landed the gyrocopter on the lawn of the Capitol building with all the letters. I've interviewed him. I've interviewed several NYPD former officers, 2 or 3 of them anyway. So I've done a lot of variety. I've talked to several clergy and various their ideas of theology and what's the interpretation of this and that. So I've done a lot of that. I'm at 96 right now, and 2 more to go, it'd be 98. No, 3 more, it'd be 99.
And if people wanted to watch your podcasts, how do they access them?
They're all over the place. They can go to Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple, iTunes, YouTube, Amazon, Audible. Oh, I couldn't think the name of the list. I might have to grab my go. They're just all over the place.
Just type in Dale Hutchinson.
Type in Dale Hutchinson or Coffee Time Again with the dashes in there. Coffee-time-again. Because Coffee Time Again's another show. So you got to get that dashes in there, or they won't be. They'll take you to the wrong show.
Yeah.
That's how and I haven't done any analytical work for a while. I need to do that. I get time.
Other than your podcast, Dale, how do you spend your days? What do you do?
I sit here and listen to this beautiful music. I sometimes go outside and talk to people, or I go downstairs and eat dinner and talk to people down there a lot.
Mhm.
But I spend so much time on the podcast because it is so difficult. There are a lot of things that goes into a podcast other than just recording them on the podcast. I'm gonna try something here. I show my see if we can keep it more than keep us more on vine here. I think that's better. No, let's see my messy above it. So I try. My goal is just to keep people. I don't want to deal with the individual news of the day, all the killings and all the murders, rapes, riots, and stuff like that, the school shooting stuff. Other people are covering those. They're doing a fairly good job of doing that. That's not my job. My job is to do things that are background stuff. You know, like this, or the one I did yesterday was on with a free interview, and she's a teacher. She's got a way to teach. She developed a way to teach Alzheimer's using math and other skills to start doing getting them, because she has an autistic child and she's learned it to touch because of that. Now she got involved. I find that to be true with a lot of people. They get involved in these things because of a child's needs. I think it's magnificent. They take the time to do it instead of just putting them off in some little shelter somewhere.
So that's how you do spend your day. But if you could spend your day doing anything, what would your perfect day be like?
Or podcast. No, I'm very much antisocial. I'm not antisocial. I'm just not real sociable. I can sit up here for hours and work on you. I'm working on my autobiography as well. So it takes a lot of time. Because I got to remember, what did I do when I was 23? Was I 23?
How's that experience, writing your autobiography been?
It's been off and on traumatic. I came from a very, very abusive household. I got told at 14. So when I come to some of these abusive spots, it really slows me down. I have to take time. I take and go talk to my therapist before I write it, just to keep myself grounded and in with the truth, not trying to sugarcoat it or anything. I want the truth.
Do your boys know about your family background, or
Yes. I told their mother about my father, keep them boys away from him when we separated. Yes, the boys know about my father. But I'm not sure about if they know about my own legal issue. I don't know. Because that they broke off contact with me 4 years before that happened. Don't know if they know or not.
do you want to talk about that, or do you want to save that?
I'd rather save it because it's really, I don't know if you know. But I was down the road of some child pornography. Got arrested, put on probation, had to do specialized group therapy for 3 years, probation for 3 years, 50 days in prison, hefty fine if they can't. For some reason, I called them up one day to pay my fine. I said, "Oh, you don't owe anything anymore. We state of California paid yours off." I go, "Thank you," and hung up. And Then when I got up probation, I have to be registered on the registry for life, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous.
I know you've spent a lot of time repenting
Yes,
for what happened.
yes, I have.
Can you talk a little bit about that process of asking for forgiveness and the grace you've received?
Oh, it's been magnificent. You know, being able, even though it's I have to use Zoom to come to the meetings, to not meetings, the services or things like that. I can't be a part. There's so much of what goes on in St. James that I want to be a part of. Just hurts. But, you know, I wrote a letter to Mother Luke, Bishop Lucas, and she's not responded. So I don't think she's going to. It's been about 4 months, 5 months ago. So I don't think so. I think I would have liked to at least got a reply. No, something, but I got nothing. And that hurt. The very neat letter. Right, very. So trying to get some of these restrictions reduced, not taken away, because some of them they can according to Colorado law. And say child act. Most states have it. But in some states are even investigating removing the registry because it's not working. Not doing what they thought it was going to do. Not stopping recidivism, and it's not helping them find people who recidivate. So it's useless, costing extra money. You don't need to be spending. But some states are investigating that. I don't know where it's at. I haven't been out of the system so long. But without Dr. Dix's help, I wouldn't have made it.
How important is your faith to you?
Very important.
And how has it helped you in the most difficult circumstances, and even now with all the health issues that you're experiencing?
I'm alive. No suicide. Although I've come close on numerous occasions, but not many since I got into the Episcopal Church, and that was in I think 2014, 2012, somewhere along in there. I had a chiropractor. Every time I go to her office, I break down in tears, and she would minister to me, talk to me, and really, really take care of, minister to me, plus the chiropractic stuff, but the rest of it too. They kept asking me to go to a healing session. Those were on Tuesday nights at 5. So I finally just to shut her up, said, okay, I'll go, Amber, I'll go. She took me to the meeting, and I went to walk down the narthex to go into the chapel. And as my left foot crossed into the rug, something akin to, I call it this warm fuzzies to the 7th power. You know what I called it initially, because I couldn't identify it. I didn't know what it was, but it was something that was really, really comfortable and beautiful and fantastic. And I now know, of course, that it was the Holy Spirit. Welcome to Key Halls. And every time I enter into the Episcopal Church, I get the same feeling, not to the intensity, but I get the same feeling. Reinforcing the fact that I'm part of the Episcopal Church.
Can you talk a little bit about the spiritual tools that you have, that you use to connect with the divine and to stay spiritually healthy?
I don't know how healthy I am, but I use the Bible quite a bit. I read the Bible frequently. It's the one on my phone, not the one running around here somewhere. I use the blue book. What is it?
The hymnal,
Hymnal, yeah, and the other one, the
Book of Common Prayer.
Book of Common Prayer. I use it quite frequently. There's one in there on forgiveness that I just absolutely love. It's a long one, but it's really, really, it speaks to me. I hear it. And that my favorite book is the book of First Corinthians. It speaks to me. It's exactly what I needed to hear. I was impressed when I read it.
You know, when Paul wrote that letter to the Corinthians, he was dealing with a lot of conflict in that family.
Yes, he was.
Any lessons that you've taken from those words of scripture to apply in your family life?
No, not that I can identify. I sure I have, kind of miss.
Yeah.
When I did EFM and we went through Second Corinthians, and I had already gone through it, of course, in prison, but when I got into it to talk about it, it immediately opened up. Opened up and says, Dale, this is you. This is what you need to do. So I've been attempting to do the stuff that St. Paul wanted me to do. Pray, do service work, support as much as I can. Do what I need to do for the church. And there isn't much. I can't do much, but I do what I can do.
Other than your life with God, any books or movies that you found especially insightful or inspirational?
Books and movies. Books I love to read, but my eyes are so bad I can't read. I have to have them read to me.
Come in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Leaning back. All right. You don't have to see my ugly face. No particular book comes in. One movie does, and it's called Karen Black and Starman's the name of Karen Black and one of the what's his name? Can't remember his name. But his father was in the TV show called Deep Sea Under the Deep Sea something.
Lloyd Bridges?
Lloyd Bridges, one of his kids.
Jeff Bridges.
Yes. Jeff, it was just what this is what's going to happen when we find ET. This is what we're going to do to him.
Yeah.
So I that's one of the few movies I watch over and over again. The Last of the Mohegans was, I thought, a very powerful movie. The Green Mile was incredibly powerful. I spend a lot of time on science fiction though, so they don't really have real powerful movies in science fiction. So that's what I do. Yes.
The favorite musical artist?
Patsy Cline.
Oh yeah.
Patsy Cline. I love her. She went way too soon.
Favorite Patsy Cline song?
Walking After Midnight.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Here's a question, something you may have believed strongly 5 years ago that you're no longer sure about.
Well, climate change. I was very much against the current stuff that they were talking about. When you had that presentation done at church by that gentleman, can't think of his name. But anyway, his presentation changed me from being opposed to it to accepting.
Meaning you acknowledge that the climate is changing.
Well, I'd always believed climate was changing, but the reasons for it.
Yeah, human caused now.
Most of it's human caused, although there's a lot of it that's not. Yes, so that's how that's the one thing that's really changed is climate change. It's one little podcast I've written.
Given that, has it changed any of the ways you live your life?
No. I'm stuck here in the middle of the country. I think we're safe. Maybe. You ever saw the movie the day before yesterday, something like that. Day before tomorrow or something. But it was about ice age. Stuff like that.
How would you describe Christianity and again how forgiveness fits in to that for you personally?
Whoa. Christianity is the bedrock of our life, in my opinion. Without it, got nothing. Human beings are spiritual beings. We come from the spirits, we're going to go back to the spirits. Dust to dust. And the dust comes from was the breath coming together to build the planet Earth and Mars, and Jupiter, and all of them. It's cosmic material. So we are cosmic beings. So that's how it affects me. That's when we believe in that. The spirituality comes from that, and the fact that God, through Jesus, created the Big Bang Theory. However, Jesus did that, I don't know, but I'd love to know. But according to my understanding, all was created by Jesus under the direction of God. God just sitting back there with his seat up. Nah, I'm joking. So that's what my beliefs are. I'm a strong believer in God. I'm a strong believer in the faith. And attempt to be as faithful as I possibly can to do the things that I know I need to do.
And has that helped you stay sober as well?
Absolutely, it's helped me stay sober. Dr. Dave's spiritual, and he was spiritual and helping me stay that way. And I was with him before I found the Episcopal Church, and then after I found the Episcopal Church. So it really worked out wonderful with Dr. Diggs and Amber.
In the time you have remaining to you, what are your goals? What would you like to accomplish between now and your last breath?
I'd like to get a ministry going that's going to stop the human traffic. I was trafficked myself, so you know what it's like. And I just want to see it. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not just the sex trade, but that people say, well, it's sex trade. No, it's every industry has rates in it. We need to start rooting them out like we're rooting out the illegals. And listen, ain't going to work for these people. The perpetrators. It's not going to work for them, I don't think. But I do know that it takes 7 times on average to get one person out of the system. Because you'll rescue them, they'll go back. You rescue them, and they go back. Because that's the only life they know. And they're afraid of what's going to happen. I do know that there's one place in Sacramento that I got involved with during one meeting at the diocesan level. On it, it's called 3 Strands. And she girl that came in and talked to us about it was a survivor, and talked about it very openly and very about what she had gone through. And it just horrified me. I knew it, but I didn't know it. I can explain that very much better. And I knew what was going on, but I didn't know it. And I knew it as an intellectual, but I didn't know it as cellular. Once you get it there, you can't help yourself to want to change it.
What obstacles must be overcome in order to make that happen?
Human indifference.
How do you overcome human
I
indifference?
haven't got to that point yet, Becky. I wrote a podcast on I had a guest, and I did one myself on human trafficking. 4 years apart. And what I got in doing the analytics on both of them, and nobody had read either one of them very much. So I wrote an article on apathy. Nobody read it. We've got to get rid of the apathy. We've got to get these people that is, yes, your child's in danger. You're in any John Dale Elway and you live in a big high place with electrical wires everywhere, but your daughters are not safe. We've got to get the people in the world to understand this. We've got to find a way to stop the people in India, China, some of these very poor countries from selling their children because they can't support them. Is another that's really bad about child slavery. We got to stop this nonsense of child marriages and these. That's down south. That isn't even in That's in the United States. They have child marriages, 13, 14 years old. And their excuse is, well, Mary was 13. Little different. So that's what we have to overcome is the apathy of the people. And I have no clue how to do it yet. I wrote him a nasty letter about it. Now I'm going to write him another one when I get a chance. Nastier than the first one. Because we've got to do something to stop this. Millions and millions and millions of children and adults, not just children. There's a lot of adults in human slavery too. It's not like it's just as bad as it was in the 1860s as it is now. And nobody will listen.
Can you talk about any plans you have to address it?
Not yet.
Anything to turn your hopes into something concrete?
Not yet. I haven't had the chance to sit down and go, duh, what do I do? You know, I've got two podcasts coming up with other survivors. So they will help get that part of that going. And what can society do to fuel us to think, believe, do to help you and your sisters and brothers in the system get out of it and stay out of it with the perpetrators in prison. Although I'm not a big supporter. I don't believe in punishment. I believe in discipline. And there's a big difference. According to the dictionary, punishment is a form of discipline inflicted by using the pain, which I don't believe in. Discipline is the effective use of behavioral change through education. It's the two differences. One's violent, one's education. And education works better than punishment. Discipline. I'm a big fan of discipline and not a fan of pain. It doesn't work. It's not gonna work. Why do it?
Yeah.
What else do you have, ladies?
Well, so you're divorced.
Yes.
Have you ever had a girlfriend or have you had the desire to remarry or?
Yes, when I first got divorced, my goal was to get remarried and have children and be a better father, be a better parent, be a better husband. And so I got involved with 4 different women. All of them cheated on me, including one that cheated on me with my 18-year-old son, which was horrible. And as time has gone on, I've gotten so old that that's pretty much pipe dream. Where I came close to getting married one time. But we always talked about it, but we just never went very far. The one she ended up sleeping with my 18-year-old son, who was sleeping with her 13-year-old daughter. I mean, what a mess. Why he didn't end up in prison is I don't know, because the cops knew about it. You know, so I given up on the thought of marriage. Wouldn't mind a companion or somebody that's friendly and we can do things together and have fun and stuff. I would accept that. But marriage at this point in my life, with my physical conditions, I don't want to put somebody through the caregiving needs that I'm going to have. The pain and the stuff like that, I just don't want to do it.
Dale, this is a lovely place you're living. Tell me how you wound up in Denver.
I was in Glenwood Springs. I got drunk and I stole a bunch of meat from the restaurant. They fired me. Told my wife. My wife said, that's it, I want a divorce. Out. So a week later, I moved out and went to detox. And they went into detox as I drunk again. And they said, well, we could send you to Denver and get you some treatment again if that's what you want. So I did. But when I came to detox, this is the amazing story. This is one of those God things that is, and as perfectly been a part of my life, all of my life. God, things happen. Got into detox about 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. At 6 o'clock that Sunday morning, they finally got me to bed. I woke up Monday at noon, 36 hours later. When I woke up, my friend Judy was taking my blood pressure because they take it every 15 minutes when you first check in, especially since you sleep up for 30 hours. I just looked up at Judy and said, "That's it, I'm done. I've never desired a drink since." Same thing happened when I quit smoking. I go up to them and I was like 110 degrees, no shade. I go, "This is dumb." Never had a cigarette since. And God had saved my life in so many situations over the years, long before I became a spiritual person. God has been in my life, acting in my life, making sure that I'm alive. He's got something planned. I don't know what it is, but something's going on at 75 something.
Do you think about heaven?
Occasionally, I want to know what's up there. I want to know who's the first person I get to see. Family member of Jesus. Which one would I want to see first?
Yeah, who would you like it to be?
Jesus. Yeah. Just step off the boat onto that glorious sand and meet Jesus. That would be the ultimate.
In a spiritual sense, since you brought some vision of what you think it's like, what in a spiritual sense, what do you think the transition from this life into the next life might be like?
It's very smooth, very kind, and to be very gentle. It'll be very loving because it's a traumatic event. Even though it may be a peaceful death here, but going over to the other side may be a bit traumatic for a person. So I think it's going to be very peaceful, very loving. They're going to be holding you, caressing you, talking to you, playing with you, playing for you. So I think that's what it's going to be pretty much like.
Are there any fears that you have?
Of death?
Mhm.
Yeah, the unknown. Kind of bit. We've talked about it before, and I've talked to Becky before. I talked to Barbara, my therapist, before about it. I took the man last week in tears the whole week. That's what we talked about was because of the kidney disease and dying. Spent the whole hour in tears talking to her. So still have some fears, yes.
Is that something that you would be open to sharing?
Well, my fears?
One or two of them, or
Yeah, because I don't exactly go to the right place. I go the other direction, although I'm very likely and unlikely to do that. I believe very firmly that I'm going to be among the risen ones. And there have been times that I remember the last words my father said, last words, it wasn't the last words he spoke, but it was the last words I heard him speak. Because I'm old, tired, I hurt, and I want to go home. My dad was an atheist. Now, atheists have no home to go to. So he was not as much of an atheist as he said he was. In truth. And my father was a chronic liar anyway. So that was our role. Making this all for him.
well, and that is something that I often hear, that people of strong faith, there's still this little bit every once in a while that creeps in of,
Going down.
you know, is this real?
Yeah.
And am I going to go to the right place?
Yeah. I'm very convinced I am. That doesn't stop that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that fear coming up when you think about something evil you've done in your life, even though you've been forgiven for it. Jesus forgives everything. no matter how horrible it is. That's when feel very convinced that I've been forgiven. For my transgressions, not just with the pictures, but really upset me. It was 4 pictures and I only looked at one. It was so disgusting. I was got to read them all. He still had me for 4.
You've been paying for that for a long time, haven't you?
2014. A long time I've been at. Be a long time before I get out. What I'm planning on in 2029, I can apply for a pardon in California. And hopefully I can get it and I get out the record. That's what I'm hoping. Yes. Yeah. Well, I need that is be prepared to keep the pen ready. I don't know exactly what the process is, but you gotta go to the California Department of Pardons. Start the process there and pay the fines, pay the money, and pay the money, and pay the money. And it takes about a year and a half for them to decide.
Well, good luck to you, Dale.
Thank you.
Is there any message that you want to give your audience? And even maybe on a personal note to your sons?
What I want to do with personally, I want to be with my sons. I want to be with my grandchildren. I love you dearly. I always have. I don't know what happened. I don't know how this came about. It just one night I got the phone calls and it was over. I couldn't reach you again. You wouldn't accept my mail or anything. They rejected email, snail mail. Well, I don't know what it was about, what caused the problem. Because this was 4 years before I committed my crime. So I don't know. But I want to know what I can do to help heal us. Because it's going to take the 4 of us to heal. And I want to be able to say, I want to help. I want the healing to begin. It can begin with me. This is what this is about, although I figured out a way I might be able to get a hold of it. My brother married my wife's sister. They're divorced now, but he still in contact with his ex-wife. And he can get a hold of Carla to get a hold of her sister, who can get a hold of the boys. If they will.
Prayers are rising that happens, Dale.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I've been praying for it. I'm going to continue to pray. I may even write to Vanessa and have her put that in there. I don't want to call tomorrow because he's busy. I don't think on Thursdays and Fridays he's not home. He's fishing. He's retired now. He's my age. So
If your boys see this and decide that, okay, they'll reach out, how do they do that?
they can reach me at my email address, which is dale@coffee-time-again.com. They can reach me you can write to me at my address, which is 7100 West 13th Avenue, apartment 212, area code 80214. They can reach me by phone or text, which is 720-653-5088. That's how you can get a hold of me. Please do. Oh, full of God, please do.
Exactly. Prayers for that outcome, Dale.
Yeah,
God's will be done.
yes, there will. You have anything else?
I think that does it.
Okay.
Movie Camera, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Raising hands, I truly appreciate